Good morning, everybody. Happy for us Saturday, for you Thursday. Um, we have a very interesting episode today. This is a warning for for all the males out there. I think I'm being punished. Today we're talking about menopause and what else? Sex drive. So maybe it's for
So
everybody.
hormones.
I got to take my head out of the ditch. The For those of you that don't know us, I'm Mars and Joanna. We're here to talk about weight loss and health. We're 48 and 47, and our main goal is to get healthier and kind of shed some pounds. We have the number in mind. It's 100 pounds. We think we can get there. I think the original goal was 100 in like 6 months. This is collectively, right? And we're on the way there. We're going to talk about numbers in a second. We're going to go through Joanna's numbers, my numbers, but that's what we're doing. Like I said, I actually heard you being very energetic in the other room in the morning. I think you were talking to I don't know if it was a consultation or maybe you were talking to one of the members, but the excitement, did that had anything to do with the way you ate in the last day?
Yes. So, it, bringing up a good point. So, yes, I was on a call with one of our members. She was struggling with trying to fit in all the calories in her eating window. And best advice I could give anybody is follow your body. Your body will tell you if it needs more food or not. If it's 6 hour window, if you're at 6 hour window and you're not hungry anymore, don't eat. It's perfectly fine. Let your body get the food off your fat. That's what we're doing this for. So so I listen to my body. Thursday, after sharing with you guys my everything that I ate and my glucose readings. I had a very stressful day at work as well. Um, I woke up on Friday. I really wasn't feeling good, and I said, "Nope, that's it." I listened to my body. Let's just not eat until I'm really, really hungry. The day just kept going. So right now, I am. Oh my gosh, I am. I am way beyond. I'm beyond 36 hours of my last meal.
Wow,
And
cool.
the energy that I've got,
Yeah.
I am sorry if I be talking too fast.
Unfortunately, it's her episode, so she's gonna be mumbling on. Get ready, buckle up. But the thing is, the energy. I know we've said it in previous episodes, but the energy comes from ketones, right? Brain feeds off of ketones. The longer you go, the more ketones, the better you feel, like more energetic. I know a lot of people, a lot of like speakers, high performers, they actually do like a 24, 36, 72 sometimes, like before like a stage engagement or hopping on a podcast, just because it fuels their brain. So they feel like you in the morning, right? With a lot
Correct.
of
Correct.
energy, and this cognitive functions just go through the roof. So in terms of like recall information, being able to serve somebody, nothing can beat eating six donuts trying to do that versus being on being on a fast for 48 hours. It's like a night and day, right?
Correct. But
Yeah.
I do want to tell you guys that I've done this before. So to me, this is nothing new of not eating 24 hours or more.
Correct.
Um, I simply listen to my body. If my body is, let's say, I felt bloated, I just felt off. My mindset was too negative. I said reset, and that's how I reset my body.
Yeah. No, it's important. And for anybody wondering, like, do you guys have shitty days ever? Like, absolutely. We almost had a fight or semi fight in the bathroom the other day. It was actually
Yes. Hey,
really.
morning.
It's yeah, right. It's totally normal, but that's why we like this whole meditation and just to calm your mind and whatever like helps a lot. And to your point about the 36 hours, don't try this at home. Not when you're starting. So we always look at it as like I don't know, three different levels. If you're just starting and you're eating like like a normal person from 9 in the morning to 9 p.m. Sometimes longer, 11 o'clock, your goal would be like if you're in that level, your goal would be to get yourself to 12 hours, 12 hours of eating, 12 hours of not eating, and then you
Yeah.
basically, that's your starting point. When you're there, then you start to push that and the envelope right a little bit. uh you're trying to expand your non-eating window.
Time.
So the longer you go past the 12 hours, 13 hours, you just go 1 hour by an hour, and then eventually you get to a bigger window. And that this helps you. This is kind of like level 2. So when you're hour 13 of not eating, 14, 15, 16, I want to say like anything past 16, you're going to like level 3 now, right? So but you gradually get used to it. What does that mean? Gradually means you're doing a window for at least 2 weeks. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't force yourself, because you will fail 101%. So
Yes.
because it's all mental game. So when Joanna talks about 36, like we have done this in the past and over a few months. So when you're keto adopted, meaning your body can switch over from just regular food to fueling from if the fat that you have stored in your body, um, then you can pull off longer sections, like 36 or 24, or we'll talk about it more.
Yeah,
um
we'll talk about it, and we'll definitely maybe do a challenge with you.
yeah, yes, I'm really itching. I think it's a little too early to do a challenge, but I was thinking maybe, I don't know what you guys think, but if anybody's up for it, for like a challenge, if anybody's up for it, we can probably like figure out, do something maybe like over the weekend, or maybe I would ideally probably like to do like a week at least. So 5 days, Monday through Friday. If you're up for it, comment below. Just say, hey, I'm in, and this way we'll see, like, do we have at least 2, 3, 4 people that want to go through it? If not, no big deal. Just stay where you are. We want you to be comfortable, but not too comfortable, because when you're too comfortable, things are getting a little loosey goosey, and that's where we are trying to that's when we're regaining. So we're going to talk about the challenge. I did mention one thing. I know you have the whole thing prepared. I'll let you riff in a little bit. I said mental game. We had this conversation this morning, um, because I keep saying it's a marathon, not a sprint. And the one thing that you guys have to know, is that you really have to have a strong why for why you're doing this. What do I mean by that? Think of it this way: everybody needs to lose weight, right? Everybody wants to. Everybody walks around saying, oh, I have to lose weight. Like, totally get it. But between that and like actually doing, there's a difference. So it's like the why is just not strong enough. Like, we get tired, we get pissed off, we have stressful days. Hormones go up, like stress hormones. And how do we counteract them? We want to be happier, and the easiest way to do it is either hop on the phone, grab a donut, grab some snacks, have a drink. Guilty. So a lot of things we try to counteract, like the tiredness and the stress, and we fight with something positive. So, and that's the easiest, quickest thing to do. But so the why is not strong enough. Like, oh, I gotta lose, but like today I'm just gonna do that, and on Monday I'll start. But all it is, that whole Monday business or January 1st business, is procrastination, right? You're just pushing it off, because of for different people it's different, because it could be for most part, I think it's fear, that you may fail, or just procrastination, pushing it out, like, yeah, I'll get there, whatever, next week. And it's basically giving yourself an okay not to do anything. So that's part of it. And the other thing is, when I'm talking about strong why, is when I think of Joanna, for example, like, there was a period where, like, okay, she was wrong, she was off with food, and we were just both regular drinking every weekend or whatever. And then what happened after? She got pregnant. And guess what happened? For 9 months, she didn't even have to consult with anybody or read anything special or hire a coach. Like, it was just booze went out the window and bad eating went out the window, because you're carrying a kid. So especially for you women out there, right? Think of it like in those terms. If you have babies, if you have kids, But like, but you can probably relate and just kind of think about it this way. It's almost the why is so strong that it's not even questionable. It's like that's just what I'm doing. And when we're talking about like losing weight or improving your weight, don't think of it as like your life is now being flipped upside down. It's more of a temporary thing for like, hey, let's focus. At the beginning, we can do like a week, like a challenge, then maybe a month, then maybe 3 months, and if you can extend it to like a 6 months, it's guaranteed that you're going to lose weight. It's not if you're going to lose it. It's when you're going to lose it, and you can
Yeah.
control that dial and say, hey, I want to go more aggressively, or depending on how fast you want to get there, how strong mentally you are. I always play on the sort of safe side and say, listen, 6 months at least. That's why when like Joanna works, consults with people and talks to them, she says like minimum like 6 months, because we want to be within that safety margin of like, hey, listen, don't freak out. It's gonna be 1.5 pound, 2 pound a week times 50 weeks. You're talking 100 pounds. So and it's super doable, right? So it's a long game. The why has to be strong, and I think that's it. Do you
We're
want to look
changing
at numbers or
habits.
sorry?
The important thing is, why is it so long? Because we're changing your habits. We're
Right.
hopefully changing habits for you to keep for the
Yeah,
rest of your life.
yeah. It's a long term thing, and it's not. We're not preaching here like, oh my, you're gonna have. You don't have to. If you love meat, you suddenly don't have to be a vegetarian. It's just figuring out, the crap that we eat, because there's a lot of misconceptions. I hope my mom is not watching, but like I remember when I was talking to her last time, and she was asking about like bacon, but I thought fat is bad for you. It's a yes and no. Fat inherently, like bacon, is not bad for you. For people that are following ketogenic, people that are doing intermittent fasting, it's very good for you. Like it's helps us. We eat bacon with almost every breakfast. But when is it bad? It's bad when you're consuming it with flour and starch and sugar. Now, when you combine the two, this is where the damage comes. So it's not necessarily that I disagree with the statement that like bacon is bad. Yeah, if you're eating crap and adding bacon on top of it, don't do it. But if you're using just bacon as fat, so it's like a lot of misconceptions, a lot of like old school way of thinking. So that's what we're trying. That's why we're here. We're trying to break those things, because it's like we in order to get us to like where we are right now and where we're trying to get, we needed to go the unconventional route and just kind of figure it out, connect the dots, talk to mentors, talk to trainers, read books, and get a lot of information. And this only that allowed us to like open our eyes and say, I got
Yeah.
it. It's totally different from like where we were. I didn't know you could like operate this way. So it's really like an eye opener for me. But enough of talking. Let's look at numbers. All right. So let's look at your number. By the way, congratulations, because I think you have reached a milestone. You tapped
Yeah.
into 180s
Yep.
high end. So that's a big one. That's a big one for you.
Correct. It feels good. Feels good. Um, I'm ready to move on. Once you hit that 189, it's
Yeah.
like, oh yes, let's keep going now.
Yeah, I know. It's always the way I think about it is like when you tap into the new teens, right? Like one
Mhm.
like right now you broke into it. I always say, in my case, it's like 150s, and then my next goal is not like two. I'm sorry, not 150. I wish. Not it's not like it's 259, and then the next milestone for me is like 255. How can I get
Yeah.
there? And
Yeah.
then from the 255, I'm like, all right, 249 is ahead of me. So
Yeah.
let's look at your. Let's see if you can the numbers. Let me just rearrange windows here really quickly. The numbers are small. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Is that better?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you're moving right along. I don't know what the trophy is for. I think you had a goal at one point of 189 in that
Yeah.
app.
So long time ago, I set myself tiny goals.
Yeah,
I started this time around with at 200, 201 something. So I figured, oh, if I get to 190, that's so nice. So I set up this little goal
yeah,
uh, for the first 10, 11 pounds. Um, so yeah, so I passed that.
yeah.
So
Well,
moving on to the next
that's
pounds.
awesome. You're giving yourself participation trophies.
Yes, that's right.
All right.
Hey, whatever keeps you going.
Yeah, whatever works. That's right. My number this week, I was so this is kind of funny because I stepped on a scale, and I almost felt like I wasn't going to get a lot this week. I think even yesterday in the morning, I think I did stepped on a scale, and I think it was like 0.5 pound or something. And here's what it is today. And a lot of times I've noticed that my experiences is that um, whenever I get stuck in the weight loss journey, there's a couple things that I try to like check before I panic, before I hit the panic button and say, "Oh my God, I'm stuck. I'm not losing weight anymore." There's a couple things. I think it's like five of them. One is water. You guys have heard this probably millions of times. One is water because it just helps with digestion, with the cells, and it's just overall a good thing to do. So you got to be hydrated. So one is water, and sometimes when I sort of hit that plateau, water is the problem. The next one is eat less, and this is not the game of like, "Oh, I gotta eat less and less and less to lose weight." Like that's not one of those. My problem is usually snacking, and it's those are the hidden snacks. Um, those are the I think I mentioned in one of the episodes. The thing I usually reach for is the keto nuts from Costco, and like I mentioned, I usually don't have a little ball. It's usually a bigger ball, and the thing is, one serving is about 400 calories, and if like 400 calories of nuts, it's really nothing. It can fit in the palm of your hand. So I usually have that. Maybe I'm over exaggerating. It's a small ball, but it's two servings, so it's 800 calories. So if you think about it, it's almost like it seems like it's just this little snack you're having, but in reality, you're having like a full meal replacement. So so that's something I'm being very careful with. Um, because it can sneak on you really quickly. Sometimes I would have like one during the day after lunch, and then in the evening, like, I'm not gonna eat anything, but I'll go for the snack, and next thing I'm eating like this little bowl at 800 calories, and that's a lot of calories. So that's what it is. That's why a lot. I don't think we like tell people that we're not huge like soda right drinkers, but a lot of times we say the worst thing you can do is drink calories because you're not really fueling your body. You're just doing this for enjoyment pretty much, and it's empty calories. And a lot of us will catch ourselves doing this with with sodas, and then alcohol is a big hitter too. That's why I usually
And
say when you're
yeah,
what is it? I'm
the,
sorry.
sometimes when we go get those specialty coffees,
Yeah, specialty coffee. You're
also
right.
putting calories. Yeah.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts is pretty bad usually with their mixes. Not I'm not defending Starbucks, same thing, but the sodas, the alcohol, and the specialty drinks. Um, so yeah, so I said number two was not eating, meaning skipping the snacks. Be careful with those. And then number three is actually eating. Sometimes I catch myself not like I don't want to say not eating enough, but I get stuck with certain foods and I repeat them, and sometimes I notice like my body after a while, especially when I'm like on the 18-hour window, sometimes gets stuck. Sometimes like for 2 weeks I can go and not lose anything. But what I try to do is like create a caloric spike, and at that point, it's not like I have a feast and I turn a day into just eating all day, but I would add something like the yogurts with the fruit, or even having a dessert. I know Joanna usually chimes in. She's like, don't. It's not a cheat meal. It should be a dessert. And do you want to chime in on that one?
Yes. So, Marcy is right. So sometimes you gotta like shock your body a little bit. I tend to do this with like a 24-hour fast or something of that sort. But you gotta shock your body. But you can do that with food as well. If you and usually it has to be something high caloric or unfortunately sugar, but because I want to stay away from the sugar, decrease that spike that we talked about, have that sugar, but after you eat your meal. So have it as a dessert. Your spike will be a little bit lower, but it still do the same thing to your body.
Yeah, I know I'm tapping into the sort of hacks, and we have a full episode dedicated to that, which is coming. But that's what it is. So now we have three, and number four. What's number four?
Sleep.
Water, sleep. Oh, that's a big one. Sleep. Whenever it usually happens on the weekend, sometimes I stay later on Friday or Saturday night, um, and sleep is impacting. Sometimes I stagnate a little bit, and then the last one is those foods that pretend to be good. So I was going to Orlando the other day. On the way back, obviously, I don't have my regular food on me. It's a perfect way to like look for an excuse for to eat something bad. And I try to at least when I stop at the gas station or places to eat. Like if you have, I don't know, we have Moe's around here, but what's the other one? Chipotle or like. But if there's that's the perfect way to do it. If you have one around, like you can just do a quick fix with a quick meal to go, by going to those places. But I even at the gas station, it's like when you grab those things like beef jerkies. What's the snack that we usually have? The pork skins
Works.
that we eat. I have a tendency of like grabbing a Red Bull. Sometimes I'm, end of day. Like I would, even if it's like a sugar free. We've talked about that stuff before. It does something more damage either later in the day or whatever because it makes me more hungry. But when I grab those okay things to eat, I still 2 days later usually takes 2-3 days to go back to the normal state. It's almost like your body is in detox recovery before that food passes. Um, that's what it is. All right, numbers 254 8. Where does this get us? Let's look here. This is the change. Not much to talk about here other than from 276 when we started the group to 255. So 21.4. So for me, it's a milestone because it's over 20 pounds. And together, I think the group at the top in the header has 24 pounds. But together we're at 31.4. So that's really, really psyched about that.
Yes.
Those are the numbers. So we're 30%, 31.4% there. And we're in our week number six. So not
Yes.
not too shabby. These are the numbers. Where do we want to go next? I think one thing before you get going is I wanted to. You guys probably saw on the inside the Facebook group. Those that are watching inside the Facebook group, you saw that I was making some announcements about like the podcast being available. We're psyched that because our YouTube channel, we're launching that. And I just wanted to, for the record, if you're watching on like YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music, those episodes are slightly delayed. If you want to get latest and greatest, you actually we're asking you to come and join us in a group. That's where we release like right after the recording is done on the following Thursday. We're releasing the content. But if you are watching, let's say on YouTube, I just wanted to provide you this QR code at the top of the screen. You guys see the this is our Facebook group. Please join us. We're happy to have you. It's always easier because even on YouTube or Spotify, like yes, I get it. You guys can leave comments, but here it's more interactive. We hop into the group. There's so much more information in the group. Joanna just finished her a day like Thursday. She went and basically measured every single time she had something in her mouth. She was measuring it with the Keto Mojo, the blood sampler, glucose metering thing
Yeah.
system. So there's so much more in a group. You can just scan the QR code and it'll basically show you where the group is. You can join. So we'll be happy to have you. And I think with that, we need to switch over to Do you want to say anything prior to looking at the website? Do you want me to pull it up?
No. So today, you guys, I know it's a little bit towards women. I think it's all towards women, but I think it's very important because part of this, why am I doing this, is because I'm beginning stages of premenopause, being at 47, or maybe in the mid of my menopause. And I was having a hard time with all the symptoms that I was experiencing. So I started researching, contacting, talking to doctors, talking to coaches, specialists, reading lots of books. Um, and I want to share with you this important information. So all women should be aware of what's happening. Doctors, your regular gynecologist does not spend enough of time with you regarding this change, and it's the biggest change that you will be going through, bigger than getting your period, bigger than being pregnant. This affects you in so many ways. Brand new research that I'll share with you guys a little bit later. um, it has been proven within the last year or 2 years that your brain, female brain, actually changes completely its structure going through menopause.
Hey, can I ask a
Very,
stupid question?
yes,
When you say pre-menopause and menopause, what's the difference?
I will be going into that.
Okay, sweet. Okay, sweet.
So, all right. First, maybe Machin, you can show us the picture of our hormones.
Sure.
Here we go. So this is how what our menstrual cycle works like. We have sex hormones. We call them sex hormones because that's going to be slowly changing, because we know that these hormones are also very important for your brain production, like I talked about, for your brain functioning correctly. So I think the sex hormone will be slowly changing, name of them. But the main hormones are your estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Yes, men, we have it too. We have testosterone in us. Quite a bit, actually. So it's a delicate balance that is maintained by many organs, not only your brain and not only your ovaries. But some players, important players in this, are also your insulin, oxytocin, which is your that love hormone that we all have, along with your cortisol, which we don't like. So this all starts in your brain. That's the top picture there. So FSH is a hormone that is responsible for signaling your ovary to start developing and producing estrogen. Okay? This happens through the first half of your cycle. It helps the estrogen go up, and then the other half of the cycle, your brain goes, okay, now we need to, now the LH hormone is produced, which signals your progesterone to go up and the ovary to actually go down into the uterus, and hopefully get have our sperm gets to it, and one lucky fella he gets to fertilize our egg. If that doesn't happen, of course we shed blood and we have our period. So that's the first things that are happening in your brain. But how does oxytocin help us? Oxytocin is that love hormone that relaxes your body. It makes you happy, which then helps your hormones to just be at a balance. Next hormone is cortisol that I talked about. Cortisol is the evil of them all, let me tell you. It is That's the belly fat that you're carrying around. It increases your blood sugar in your blood. It's responsible for you to be up at night worrying about things, as well as I said, it affects the production of your sex hormones. Next one is insulin. That is why we're telling you to for intermittent fasting to decrease your insulin and to watch your glucose to decrease the insulin, because insulin, like I said, it disrupts your hormone production, as well as helps stores all that fat. If it's that fat is not used like we talk about, it will store it all over your body, all over your organs, as well as your body, around your organs, around your belly, for us women, most of us. And when it's sticking around there, you will not burn fat. So let's say that insulin, oxytocin, and cortisol is all in perfect levels. So now estrogen. Estrogen starts from day one of your period, to day about 14. It starts producing, ramping up. That is when us women get more energy. We have a perfect hair days. Your skin is glowing. You actually gain a little bit more weight around your hips, and you're able to communicate beautifully, and that is all for to find that perfect mate. That's what estrogen helps you with. It also helps you with burning your stored fat. So if your estrogen is lower than it should be, it's harder for you to get into that fat burning mode. Okay. Estrogen, yes, estrogen is a bad guy sometimes too. It causes some cancers, but if everything is in balance, it's perfectly fine. Okay. Progesterone is then your hormone. If you look at your chart there, that's the second half. Your progesterone goes up and says, okay, little egg, it's time for you to go down into the uterus, and it builds up that wall around your uterus to get it nice and comfy for the egg to settle in. And when the egg is not fertilized, it sheds down. Okay. But progesterone helps you with staying calm, sleeping better. So when your progesterone is low, which happens to us ladies, around the from the age 40 to when it completely goes away, you will experience the spotting, more spotting than regular. You will get more anxious, as well as this inability to just relax. You're constantly nervous. Those are the beginning signs of when you realize that your hormone levels are decreasing. Now our testosterone is like lingering around there all the time. It's the highest around that middle of your cycle. That's when the egg is ready to be fertilized. But testosterone is your sex drive. So that's why it's higher at the time where we need to have sex in order to fertilize our egg. It helps you with your muscle, building your muscle, your, like I said, your sex drive, as well as your desire to go out there and work. So when you're noticing that your sex drive is going down the tubes, and you're just not motivated at all, that could be your testosterone going down. All right, I know, lots of information, but as you see, there's a lot of things that go into your body, your full cycle working completely and correctly. Any one of those is off, you're off. You feel it all over the place. So then let's go into menopause. Menopause is divided
So, Joanna,
supposed into
can I stop you for a second? Because I learned visually. That's a lot of information to absorb.
correct.
I'm in the middle of the woods. Some of it I absorbed and some I didn't. But again, it's for you guys, and you speak that language fluently. But since we have those charts, can you walk me just through the from top to bottom and like tell me what are we showing? Like what's the first like graph, the
The first
FSH?
Yeah, the first graph is your brain that sends out the hormone to your ovaries, which is the FSH, is the black line,
Mm-hmm.
tells them to, hey, let's start let's start producing, uh, or developing, maybe better word, and start producing the estrogen that we need.
So you're saying
That's
that the one line and the other line, the first and the second line, you're saying that that's the change that happens later?
so first, if you see that black line, that's that that FSH, where it comes out. And first of all, the whole graph represents your cycle. It's usually 28 days. Okay. That's a 28-day cycle. If we start on the left hand side of the graph, the black line, that's your FSH. Okay. It tells then your ovaries to start formulating. So if you go down, you see that tiny little dot, that's your ovary. Okay. And your ovary is starting to formulate. Your estrogen on the line on the graph below, which is that purple line, is ramping up, if you see, right?
Yep. Makes sense.
these, these two work together.
I see. Yep.
FSH, your brain tells your ovaries start producing your little ovary and start producing estrogen. Okay, go hand in hand. Anything is off in the middle of this, the communication is not correct, right? You're stressed, you got too much sugar in your body, affects this communication line. Okay, and that happens for first 14 days. After that 14 days, after that 14 days, your LH now hormone, which tells your
Yep.
ovary it's time now to drop down, is increased, because now your brain is telling needs to tell your ovary to fall into your uterus. And that's when LH hormone in your brain is responsible for that. It tells the estrogen to, okay, calm down, estrogen, we're good. And progesterone rises up. And if you see, they're all perfectly aligned.
Yep.
Every hormone is aligned correctly. That's the perfect world out there, right?
Okay.
That's about day 14. This is the day that you want to get pregnant in a perfect world, because everything is aligned.
Okay.
Your estrogen at that point should now come down. Progesterone, with enough of progesterone, estrogen should come down and progesterone takes over. And progesterone, again, is responsible for making that uterus nice and cozy and comfortable for the egg to be dropped into, and also is responsible, if the egg is not fertilized, to then shed all the extra blood that
Okay.
was there in your uterus. Okay. Testosterone, if you see there, plays a very small role in your second graph here, but it's increased the most in that time where your sex drive has to be the highest.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
So if you want to remember, estrogen is there to make you look beautiful and get ready to go find your mate, catch him there. And then progesterone then tells you your body to relax. We're gonna have sex, and we have to now make sure that this egg is fertilized and the egg implants,
Okay.
and then you start bleeding, and the whole cycle starts up again.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you for that.
You So
Now,
that's in the regular world, the perfect world, you can say.
okay.
Okay. So now what happens when we hit our, they say, late 30s to about 65? We have this period of just craziness. What happens? First, first stage they call perimenopause, which is like late 30s to about 45, and your hormones slowly start decreasing. So basically, those sharp curves are not that sharp anymore. You produce less, with problems with sugar, problems with cortisol, will affect those timelines and make your symptoms even worse. So, again, this is why we're fasting. This is why we're controlling our sugar, to get our symptoms to decrease. So, there's a hormonal decline, but the decline is not a slow decline. One day you're going to be like a teenager, your hormones are high, you have full of energy, and then in a couple days, no hormones. You feel horrible, you're depressed, you want to cry, the world is ending. Ladies, it's your hormones. That's all it is. It's the lack of your hormones. It's normal. We all go through it. It's just how to deal with it and how to keep producing these hormones at a regular level, even though you're slowly declining the production. So your premenopause is usually, like I said, around late 30s to 45. You'll start getting hot flashes, very uncomfortable. You'll know when you got a hot flash, let me tell you. I didn't know what it is until, like, oh my God, I am hot. I am burning from within. What is this? So, hot flashes. Your sleep will be interrupted. You will fall asleep, but then get up and can't sleep. Your brain will be cranking, anxiety for absolutely no reason. Depression will creep in. The depression is unexplainable. I know my brain can do this, and still I catch myself being depressed, and I don't know why. But then I know it's only my hormones. So that's why I want you ladies to know that it's your hormone. It'll be better tomorrow as long as you know that this is part of this cycle. Continue with your path of fasting and decreasing your glucose, and I promise you, you will be fine. So then brain fog hits in. Remember that brain fog sometimes we had after we gave birth? That's the same thing. Your hormones were all over the place after you gave birth. For about a month, you were a wreck, correct? Brain fog. You constantly forgot stuff. You would cry for no reason, or you would get mad. Same thing. Your hormones were all over the place until they stabilized. So then we hit 40 to 50, 40, I'm sorry, 45 to 50. That's another stage of premenopause going that's a later stage of premenopause, and that's where your energy, you start losing energy. Your cycle, you can lose your cycle up to 3 months. um, Mood changes are worse than before. Hot flashes and night sweats. I'm not experiencing night sweats yet, and I hope not to. But night sweats are pretty bad. I hear that some women sweat to the point where they got to change whatever they're sleeping in. um, Insomnia, irritability. I am more irritable than I used to be, definitely.
Tell me about it.
Tearful, tearfulness. I do have my days where I just tell Marcin that I need a hug because I just gonna cry.
You know what? I thought that after this whole period, like as you were aging, I'm like, oh, well, once we get rid of the period, the cycle, and everything, I'm like, life is gonna be great until we have arrived at the premenopause and menopause. All right, go back. I'm sorry.
I do need sometimes a little bit more hugs and kisses, just part of this phase. And you're down for no reason, like I said. And forgetfulness. Ladies, I do want to bring up one statistic. Unfortunately, most of the suicides for us females are at the age of around 50, because our brain is changing so much that we don't know what is happening to us. We're very depressed. We feel like we've served our family all of our lives, and all of a sudden nobody cares about us. It's a normal feeling. Please go get help. If you feel that this is overwhelming you, go get help. There's a way out.
Yeah.
Um,
I know
and
you mentioned. Sorry to interrupt your train of thought, but like the other day, you said something that resonated. Kind of, you said that just if we go back enough in time, the life expectancy for women, right? Like, do you want to mention that? Because I know that kind of made a lot of sense for me.
yeah, so a very interesting point. Again, I told you about these new studies that were made with scanning of our brains. So then the doctor was asked, okay, why is this happening? What's the possibilities? If we look at theory of evolution, Darwin theory of evolution, he believes that women technically should have died after the years of production. We are here to reproduce. So are males. Um, and once we grow up, we have our children. We raise our children to a certain age. You then are not capable of reproduction because in most of the cases you would die many, 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 many years ago. Life expectancy was 30s or 40s. That's one. That's the Darwin theory. Now, the new theory is, why do we go through this change? We go through this change because at this point, you are the support system for the next generation. This is where you become a grandma and you help your daughter to raise those kids. So that's going back, let's say, 100 years, right? This is where families used to live in one house, and the the female that was in the reproductive stage would have kids, and the grandma would be the one most of the time taking care of the kids. Of course, we no longer live in a community type of living with our families. um, so this changes a little bit. um, I don't know if that helps or not. And we're living longer, so we're experiencing all these things. Doctors are just being taught a little bit more about menopause, how important it is, what a big change it is. So depending on the age of your doctor, there may be a different idea of this menopause. Some doctors just say, too bad that happens, deal with it. But with this new research coming out, I believe that a lot of things will be changing. So maybe not for us, but definitely for our daughters.
Sorry
Um,
to, yeah. So before you go back, the thing about doctors, obviously, we're not doctors. We're just sharing what we have learned and what works for us. And you guys have to kind of do the same. We're not preaching and telling you that you have to do certain things. But the thing about doctors is we have to remember that not everybody wearing a white outfit is necessarily a good doctor for you guys. There's plenty of guys that are running practices without any idea what they're doing. So just because you finished, medical school doesn't make you somebody that can help you. And I'm not labeling every single doctor out there, but like just from our personal experiences, like I know for I know you're Joanna, you're with a good doctor right now, and it's a doctor that's aware, that's present, that studies everything that's latest that comes out. She attends conferences, and I know she's up to date, so she speaks the same language. But I remember, in the past, conventional way, doctors that we dealt with in the past, it's just the old way of thinking and old methods and old information, outdated information. A lot of them get comfortable, and that's really where the challenge lies. So even having a conversation about cycles with your regular doctor not going to get you probably very far. You can tell us more. Not right now. I want you to go back to your original train of thought and finish what you were saying.
when you are looking for a gynecologist, there are a few gynecologists that are actually certified for menopause. If you find one, that's great. If not, the information is out there for you to help yourself go through this stage. One interesting thing that I want to share with you guys, as we all know, Latin is the oldest language. So I may be saying this wrong a little bit, but you'll get the idea. The word hysteria in Latin came from the word uterus. The reason being is, us women become hysterical, not in a funny way, but we lose our brain, our minds almost, and it's proven because our brain changes, ladies.
Yeah.
It completely is rewiring. So even long time ago in Latin, the word uterus was a person that's crazy. Okay. That's what they thought of us getting older. So here we are going a bit crazy. All right. So that's that. So that's premenopause. Menopause is that it's almost like a that time in a timeline. It's that one point where you no longer have your period for a year. So if it's been a year and then you're starting to spot again, guess what? You're back into premenopause. Like I said, again, it's got to be a year with completely no cycle that qualifies you as now you're in menopause, which means your hormones are no longer present in your body. Um, I That's about it for that part. I know some of you may have questions regarding taking hormones. I will cover that in a different episode because I'm in a middle of actually learning about this for myself to prepare myself for the future. Um, I don't have the information to share with you guys right now. But for you older ladies that are at that point and you want to go for that, just one thing: you do not get synthetic hormones. That much I know for sure. If a doctor's giving you synthetic hormones, please say no, thank you. You want to go with something that is natural. Okay. All right, so that is it for menopause. I know it's a lot of information. If any of you have any questions or anything that you would want me to talk to you about one on one, please send me a message and I have no problem sitting down with you one on one and giving you the information that I have, or at least directing you to where to get that information. Um, the last thing that I want to leave you ladies with is please go check your hormones. Your doctor may disagree with you that why your hormones fluctuate all over the place. It's okay. Get your hormones done. Record somewhere what day more or less you are of your cycle so you will have a baseline or a reference to go to when you start feeling a little bit worse. Okay. Another thing is, an important thing is tracking your cycle. Okay. No matter where you are, what part of stage of this hormonal journey you're in, track your cycle. I can share with you guys the app that I use if Marcin can help me.
I think I'm looking at, because we don't want to kind of do an overkill here, just because of the timing. We're almost at 52 minutes right now.
Oh yeah,
So
okay.
let's flag it. Let's show it, right? For anybody that wants to like check it out, maybe I don't know, download the app, or you can get
Yeah,
into details later because I know you also had another chart you wanted to cover that we didn't get
correct.
into. So maybe do it in the next episode.
Yeah, next episode I'll go over my chart.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
So let's pull up the phone. Everybody say hi to Ola.
My kids steal my phone and put their faces on the phone every so often, and it's a challenge of who gets which girl is on my screen time face there on my wall the longest.
Hey, was it Clue?
It was Clue, yes.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
Clue is an app which is really nice in tracking your cycle, no matter what stage of your cycle you're in. As I've shared before, I had a hysterectomy, but I do have my ovaries, so I still go through the cycle. But I can only tell by the way I feel. Of course, not by bleeding. So when I do feel a certain way and I know for sure what's happening in my body, I do still use it and mark it. Okay. So the app is Clue.
Okay, and I will go ahead and open it. You want to just take a quick look, or
Open it to the front page and click two buttons. I just want to show. So this is what it tells you. Of course, it tells me that my period I haven't had period for 372 days because I can't track my period because I don't have my period. But if you go into the plus sign, just hit the plus. It's very easy to use. It's picture oriented. You just click off. It's very detailed. You could put as many details as you would like. The more details you have, the better for you to go back to and use as data. So of course, period spotting, feelings, and if you scroll up and up, so many things you can put in here, as we see how important it is, your energy levels. This will tell you everything, from how you're feeling to, you could even check chart your energy levels. If you start seeing that your energy levels is decreasing from month to month, obviously something's up with your hormones, right? Again, everything from what did you use during your period, what did you eat, how does it make you feel. Great app, lots of information can be stored in here. You don't have to keep everything, but will help you out definitely.
You know what?
So
This would be a good feature for this application. Would be like when it's like social life and you're sociable. I would like to get a notification out of your application, and
yes.
for the rest, for the rest, so I know sort of the territory I'm stepping into. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty cool. All right. I think we're good there. Anything else that you wanted to cover?
No. Ladies, just please go get check your hormones and start tracking. That's my task for you this week.
Yeah. And I think we're close to the end, close to an hour here. So I think that would be a good place to stop. Any sort of assignment, homeworks, things to consider this week, or I know you've shared the app, but reminder about trying to push the non-eating window.
We're pushing our window, remember, 1 hour. So 30, start your breakfast 30 minutes later, and then push your dinner to 30 minutes up a little bit. Okay, so we're closing down the windows. Share with us what window you're at right now, so we know how fast we can move with the group. And if you're, it would be very helpful to know if you're finding any results with anything, um, just so we can set up the challenges so we would know where we're at.
Yeah, yeah, that's super helpful. Window and then sharing your wins. I believe you mentioned that. One more reminder for somebody that maybe missed that in the middle of the episode. QR code. This is how you can find us. This is the group. This is where we cover most of the information. So just a quick reminder. And I think that's it for today, right?
That is it.
Any partying thoughts?
No, just fast on, my friends, fast on.
Uh, that's right. All right, guys, we got a jet because I have a date with my wife. Actually, I don't know. Her application probably must be showing that she's in a good mood. So, I'll take it. All right,
It's the
everybody. Uh,
Remember, I'm burning my fat now. I got ketones. I'm burning my fat.
I'm closing the fridge then. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right, guys.